As one sniff of a rose shifts your emotional frequency, by the way, it releases like a very, very micro amounts of DMT in your body, natural DMT. As one sniff of a rose shifts your emotional frequency, abiding in the petals of your own heart, elevates your self-perception to accept the truth of your absolute worthiness to be loved. This is what it comes down to. We so often wonder why our prayers aren't answered. And honestly, it's never because the universe isn't answering our prayers. It's because we are constantly doing a return to sender with our blessings. You know, we are constantly second guessing if we are worthy of the love that the universe is always sending our way. And we don't have the luxury anymore of denying our blessings and denying how much love is flowing to us, because the world needs us to know how worthy we are of the divine love that we are and of this constant communion that we are in with Sophia God. We must embody it, because if we don't, no one's going to know what it looks like. No one's going to know what legitimate Christ consciousness looks like unless we're willing to receive the love first for ourselves. So Mother Mary is sharing here that it takes time to acclimate to how much beauty and how much blessings come when you are tuning to these rose teachings of the Sacred Heart of the Divine Mother. It's like it's spiraling, this beauty, this bliss, this level of blessing, how truly unconditionally loved and supported you really are. It's like it lights up in your consciousness all the ways that you have rejected that love. And then you got to go through the process of forgiving yourself for rejecting the love that's always been flowing to you. It's just like we all got to do it. It's the big get to, the reclamation, the forgiveness, the self-forgiveness of like, whoa, okay, I see it. Doesn't matter if it's because of my childhood or something that happened in my adolescence. It's just like, got it. I got to forgive myself for returning to sender all of the blessings and the love that's always flowing to me. That's the first step. You can't just be like, all right, I'm going to receive it. It's like, no, you got to say, I'm sorry. I had no idea that I was rejecting you, my own heart, my own relationship with God. It's fine. As soon as you're able to forgive yourself, apologize to yourself, forgive yourself, the reconciliation begins. You start to let the love and the beauty in. You start to feel the blessings pour in because they've just been waiting on hold to just pour into those places that you're like, no, no way. Not good enough, not ready enough, not talented enough, not fill in the blank enough. Like, I forgive myself. Okay. God happens to think I'm all of those things, but now I'm going to join God in that communion, right, of the Sacred Heart, the daily communion. What a beautiful teaching Mother Mary is offering us here in her chapter. And she also goes on to say on page 168 that when you spend enough time in communion with your Sacred Heart, and the Sacred Heart of God, what happens is your heart chakra starts to spiral open one petal at a time. This rose of your heart begins to bloom open. So you start to receive more, you start to give more, and you start to find a natural rhythm and balance of your relationship with life, of the giving and the receiving, right? You start to acknowledge, yes, I'm worthy of receiving this much. Oh, yes, because I've received this much, it is my joy to give this much. Because I'm not just resourcing my human self. I'm resourcing this direct communion with God, and God's divine love is flowing through me and giving through me and also receiving through me, right? You start to acclimate what it's like to be in that kind of divine union on a daily basis. But then what happens? You start to value yourself as the vehicle of that divine love in this world far greater than many of us have been taught to value ourselves. The more that you come into communion through this heart opening, the teachings of the rose share with us that the more this divine union with your source is practiced and attended to, the more you realize how much you might not have been valuing yourself in the past. You start to see how you've allowed people to take advantage of you, or the codependency that has come into play in your life, or maybe you're not receiving as much as you need to, or maybe you actually see how much you've been holding back from giving because you don't feel safe. And why? It's because the more you come into communion with these rose teachings and the heart of Mother God, you start to see, oh, if I valued myself more, I would have clearer boundaries that allow others to engage with me in a healthier way.